Fortnite modding is one of the fastest ways to make a popular game, and I like Fortnite, so I spent 6 weeks working on my first map. I don't know how to make trailers in Fortnite, so I am going to figure that out, and let's cut to whatever I end up with.
You give me brand new emotion, you got me drinking that potion. I just wanna see you like that, see you like that. So if you're ready, and if you let me, I wanna see it in motion, in 3D. Show me girl now. You won't regret me, champagne confetti. Hey, I wanna see it. In motion, in 3D, come on. 'Cause you know I like it, girl. You know how I like it, 3D. You know I like it, girl. You know how I like it, 3D. 'Cause you know I like it, girl. You know how I like it, 3D. You know I like it, girl. 3D.
It's not very good, but hey, it got thousands of plays. And while I was making this, I learned something that I thought was very surprising. So Fortnite is like the biggest game in the world right now, but a lot of people really don't like Fortnite. Let's take a look at a few Reddit posts. Since when did Fortnite become a super low quality mobile app store? If you haven't played Fortnite, the Fortnite client homepage basically looks like the YouTube homepage. So there's a lot of these really clickbaity thumbnails and some personalization algorithm to recommend mods to players. And this is how my map Guard Commander got thousands of plays. We need to stop these kinds of lazy maps with AI generated art as the front card and simple shitty gameplay when you actually play them. They're shitty and don't play them. Also, some are racist. This is the brain rot that gets players, just why. So developers are complaining about the mods that are being surfaced in the Fortnite client. And this gets me very excited. There are millions of players playing these really bad meme maps that are sometimes racist or infringing on copyright. And that just means that discovery is effective and the competition is weak right now. So now is probably a good time to make a Fortnite map. And I am not the only one who thinks this. There's actually legit game studios and investors that are getting into Fortnite now. Apparently, the top modder is making like $10 million a year or something like that. Unfortunately, I am pretty new to Fortnite. I'm starting to practice my mechanics now and I'm getting some coaching.
Let's run you through some stuff. So the first one I always like to start with is our standard ramp rush, our flat, stairs, wall. Now why I do this one is because it's used in a lot of advanced builds and it's just a really important one to have in your arsenal so it's tough for them to shoot you down. So the order is very important in this case. But there's another order that works. You can't do stairs, flat wall, but you can't do flat first because of this. That's what will happen half the time. Now your body placement and crosshair placement are very important in building here. So the flat, you just aim down. Stairs, it's really easy. Crosshair placement doesn't matter. And then wall, as long as you're aiming down, you'll place the wall under the stairs. So now you're so high up that you might not. As long as you're in the middle or below. All right, and then our goal here is to get 3 perfect ones in a row. That's 2. You move on up. You can place the flat once you're about here. Stairs doesn't really matter. Wall. Nice.
Coincidentally, I also started getting tennis coaching recently, and doing Fortnite drills has way more in common with sports training than it does with game development. My personal motivation for choosing Fortnite as my game development platform is because I wanted to build a game quickly, acquire users quickly with minimal marketing effort on my end, and then I can iterate on the game design really fast on real user metrics, which in my opinion is usually more valuable than playtesting feedback. Some people will disagree, but let's not get into that. I also wanted the first use case for my level design tool, which is how I actually plan on making money from this in the short term. And I'm not going to talk too much about this because I don't have something launched yet. Roblox and Minecraft also have strong modding communities, but I like competitive multiplayer, and Epic is investing very heavily in the modding tools and the modding discovery, so I really like the direction that they're going. It was a big deal when they announced in March 2023 that they were integrating Fortnite modding with Unreal Engine. Before, you would have to make a mod in this in-game editor, so this was supposed to make things much more powerful. But it turns out that the API inside UEFN, which is the Unreal editor for Fortnite, it's really, really restrictive. There's a lot of developer complaints about this, but basically, if you want to do something as simple as, let's say you want to add a new gun to the game, you actually can't do that unless you figure out a crazy hack that goes against what the API is supposed to do. And the more I worked in UEFN, the more I realized that there are these very specific Fortnite-style gameplay elements, like, for example, building, shooting, picking up items. These things are very fast and very easy to implement in UEFN, but other stuff is really hard. And the surprising thing is that these technical limitations actually helped me a ton as a game designer. So a bit of background about me, I actually haven't released my own game in 8 years. The last one was Frantic Architect, and I have a video on that. But I don't have really strong opinions on what kind of game I want to make. I enjoy playing a lot of different genres, and I can say high-level things like, I like competitive multiplayer, or I like strategy games. But these kind of ideas are not concrete enough to get my creative juices flowing. You know what they say about how limitations make you more creative, or choice can be paralyzing? This is really true for game developers from my experience. Roughly the timeline for working on Guard Commander was I spent the first 3 weeks learning UEFN, and I had an idea which I knew I was probably going to scrap, but it helps me to have some idea to give me a direction to move towards. So I was trying to build Howl's Moving Castle as a Fortnite map, and it turned out that this was too hard to build in UEFN, at least for me. So then I pivoted to another idea which ended up becoming Guard Commander. I noticed that the bots in Fortnite were very fun to play with, and I am very bad at aiming in shooters. I don't know, maybe I'm too old or something. That's probably not it, I just haven't practiced enough. So anyways, the idea was, in this game, you spawn bots to do all the shooting for you, and then this way you can focus on the building aspect of Fortnite, which is already very hard by itself. Once I got the core game loop working and I fixed the major bugs, I launched the game as quickly as I could, and I didn't do any promotion on my end because I wanted to test my thesis, which was that Fortnite discovery is pretty good. And it turns out it is, so the game got thousands of plays very quickly. And then I spent 2 weeks working on the first update where I improved some of the game mechanics and I added more locations. And I did use some AI here, but I'm not going to tell you how. The gameplay is still really lacking in depth, and I'm not sure how to fix that, but this is what I'm working on now. Since it's a 1v1 map, it's kind of hard to test it myself, but I did build a second PC recently using some parts that I bought from eBay. So sometimes I'll try to play with myself. I also set up playtesting sessions about once a week with my friends, and a lot of them don't play Fortnite and got confused by the Fortnite UX.
I'm overwhelmed with microtransactions.
The UI it's overloaded because it's designed for Zoomers, and they need to be able to watch TikTok and play games at the same time. So it's a little all over the place. This is insane. How much what is in this game? This is actually just.
But I actually think this is a real off-putting thing here. I mean, if I was a professional Fortnite player grinding 10 hours a day, and I had to look at this predatory advertising all the time, I would really be questioning what I was doing with my life. I'm still motivated to practice because I think Fortnite at its core is a very good competitive game, and I like giving myself a mental workout and learning about game design by playing hard games myself. But you know, it just gets on my nerves. And I mean, I can't blame Epic for all the microtransactions. The microtransactions is what funds the payouts that Epic pays to the modders. So all the mods are free, but there are some algorithms that are based on your engagement metrics, like your session time, your play time, so on. And that calculates how much payout you get. I hope that the modding community takes advantage of all the money that Epic is putting in to incentivize better mods. But if the scene dies off in the next few years and I have to pick another platform to make games on, I feel like I already learned a lot in these 6 weeks. And overcoming this 8 years of not releasing a game was really a big thing for me. I did a lot of other stuff. I mean, I worked in esports for a while, and I also ran a server hosting business where I helped admins install mods for games. But working in the periphery of games and esports doesn't really help make me a better game designer, which is ultimately what I want to do. Right now, I am completely focused on making games and tools for game developers. I don't have any other jobs. Just like 3 years ago, actually, when I was trying really hard on YouTube and before I started working at Google as a software engineer. And I was always going to go back to startups. It just took me this long to decide if I wanted to stick to gaming. I spent some time trying to get into biotech, but ultimately that just wasn't aligned with my creative goals. And for a while, I also really thought that I wanted a co-founder. But it turns out that working with people is hard. I mean, at least for me, it was much harder than working by myself and just paying people when I needed help. Overall, I think my experiences were good these last few years, but I needed to move on to the next thing. And I don't always know what I'm doing, but
So if you're